Welcome to That Davis Show. I am your host, Kenneth Davis. Follow me at That's Davis. And of course, always along, not even in the long, but leading at times, we have Ryan Bukoveski. Follow him at Ryan B. Ski and Ryan B. Ski 1. He, of course, is executive producer of this show and Flippin' Friends and every iteration that we have of different shows that we come up with moving forward. How you doing, Ryan?
Oh, the main work has been sucking, but other than that, I can't really complain. Life's been good. It was a cloudy day here in Arizona, which is crazy rare. It was so nice. It was like a refreshing, Illinois summer weather, but like a winter fall kind of day feel with the grayness in the skies. But I missed it. I like that grayness. I was like, man, it's nice to have a cloudy day once in a while.
Oh, it's nice to have a cloudy day every once in a while.
Hey,
okay. It's summertime here, buddy.
Take it away from you.
It's nothing.
That's not a brag. That's not a flex. That's just saying.
I feel like your bicep was really
when they average like 340 days of sunshine here. Like you miss a cloudy day once in a while.
Oh, okay. All right, going on to the show.
Oh man, how are you doing? How about that? Since apparently the gray's coming and you're going to be upset.
We talked about before the show. I had to rescind the bid that we had on the home. The inspector came in and things went left. Right, it was bad business. It was a lot of DIY stuff in times when you don't want DIY stuff. Right. So from the electrical, and I mean, the home seemed like it had no issue, but it still wasn't up to code. Just all over the place. There was some asbestos. It was just, it wasn't popping. The home was a nice home with modern amenities, but still had a lot of the original build-ins from the house. The house was built 100 years ago, or almost 100 years ago. So it still had a lot of the craftsmanship that they used to put in back in the days when they used to build stuff like that. So instead of being torn out, so it had character to it, but we had to let it go. I just told you I was looking at my phone and I saw that it was pending for us, and it jumped back on the market. So that was my day yesterday. It sucked, but it is what it is, and I move on. And we are going to jump into some sports and liven it up. We're going to start off on a good note, going off top. Take it from the tippy. Shout out to Carl Nassib. I'm sorry, let me pronounce that correctly. The Raiders defensive end came out yesterday and let everyone know that he's a part of the LGBTQ community. He's a gay brother. He's not a brother, but he's a brother. All right. But he came out yesterday, and I commend him being the first active player to actually come out. There have been a lot of NFL players and even in other sports, former players that have come out after they have retired and to announce that they were gay. But this gentleman did it still young, was run Big Ten Player of the Year in 2015 with Penn State. So, he's in still the early years of his career. I think got drafted by the Browns, played for the Bucks, and then ended up signing a contract with the Raiders. But it's good for our friends in the LGBT community to see someone that looks like them stand out and not have to hide. I wish him a lot, because football, I wonder how it's going to be on the field versus other teams, but also in the locker room with some of his teammates. So that's where it's like, I commend you and I hope you built for it. Not to say that you shouldn't have done it, because you should live your truth. If I was gay, I would want to live my truth. But you should live your truth. But I commend them for how hard it may be. There's already a lot of crosstalk on football fields and in locker rooms, especially if the adrenaline is rushing. So add to that this gentleman's sexuality, and depending on some other how some people feel about that. I'm sending them energy just to be able to persevere through it. I never really paid attention to the young man before, but seems to have a good head on his shoulders. Seems that he has a lot of joy in his heart. So from this show, from Ryan and myself, just wishing Carl Nassib the best, because dude, you jumped out. I mean, it's in a positive way. You jumped out the window, because we all knew it was coming. Especially seemed like a few years ago you thought it was coming. But for him to do that I commend him for taking that step and helping a lot of people. Also, I believe, I forget, it's Trevor, whatever the charity that he pledged to help prevent suicides and LGBTQ. I don't know if it's younger people or if it's for everyone, that $100,000 that he gave them the NFL match, and they have been over 50% higher in the money being poured in. So another good thing come out of it. But I wanted to commend him and lead off the show talking about Carl Nassib having the courage to step out and be his whole self.
Yeah, I think I heard on Crosstalk today on 670 The Score between Lawrence and Dan Bernstein, and Dan Bernstein, who's usually a pretty reliable source, put out a very interesting statistic that when it comes to suicides by people that are part of the LGBTQ community, having like a supportive adult in your life, like
40% less.
Yes.
Yeah,
like,
I heard. I didn't see it on there, but I saw that. I did see that today. I think now LZ Granderson, I believe. Yeah, that's crazy. Just having a parent or someone
supportive adult in your life, just one, drops at 40%. So, like you said, just to be that kind of like icon for anyone that maybe doesn't have that support, and just show them that, hey, you can do it, you can do anything, and there is people out there that will support you. It's just a really positive thing. I was happy for it too.
I was definitely happy for it too. So we commend you, Carl. And listen, go out there and get to the Pro Bowl. You're not gonna win the championship with Chucky coaching you, but go get you a Pro Bowl, man, and take it to even higher levels. You know what I'm saying? Get on even higher platforms to go out there and help the young kids in the LGBTQ community and the adults, but in particularly the young kids, as Ryan was just talking about, that are fighting because, you know, people have their prejudices. You know what I'm saying? And people just need to just let go. You know what I'm saying? Let someone be who they are. You want to be who you are. All right. On a sad, but somebody needs to get some furniture moving. All right. There needs to be a fade given. All right. And this is an article from the Tribune. Phil Thompson, friend of the show, put out about Ben Zobrist, the former Cub, 2016 MVP, has filed a lawsuit accusing his former minister of having a sexual relation with his wife, Juliana, and defrauding Zobrist Charity Foundation. The lawsuit is against Byron Yan, CEO of the Nashville Area Counseling Forum, Forrest Kane Co., and it seeks $6 million in punitive and compensatory damages through the trial. Jan's attorney said this: at the end of the day, a woman has the right to choose who she wants to be with. All right, we're in the middle of litigation. That's all I can say. According to the lawsuit, Jan began having a daily conversation with Julianne in August of 2018, then began secretly pursuing an intimate relationship with Mr. Zobrist's wife the following month. His romantic involvement with Mrs. Zobrist escalated in the spring of 2019 when he began meeting her for sex, the suit claims, right? Zobrist contends that in the lawsuit that Juliana and Jan was still serving as a counselor, continued their relationship in 2020 and kept it secret by using burner phones, which Jan's wife found out and hit. Yeah, Jan's wife found out and hit Zobrist like, let me tell you what's really going on. Jan, according to the suit, Zobrist tells Jan, like, dude, I'm not going to training camp, man. My wife is filing them papers. I got to stay here and fight for my family. Jan replied to him, right? This is the type of dirty ass bastard that Jan is, right? God. Playing with religion too, right? Jan, according to the suit, responded, "That's heavy, friend. Jans love you and your family. Whatever you need to do, Grace. He loves your family, all right. Intimately. Listen, dog, Ben Zobrist. I don't know Ben Zobrist personally, but I know he better have run the fuck out of this dude's neck. All right, like this. I'm not even talking about definitely for what he did to your wife, but bump her. He disrespected you on so many different levels that fisticuffs and a lawsuit is the only way to start feeling better about the way that you've been taken advantage of by this charlatan and hustler, Jan, who's just out here pumping everybody's Byron Jan, pumping everybody's wife. No, he'll pass it like, man, I'm about to hit that. Think about it. Shawty was like, they was doing counseling, and he in counseling thinking about knocking your old lady up. You know what I'm saying? Getting horny off of y'all. Listen, you in that. The worst part, you're telling him your warts and why your relationship isn't working, and he's basically using that against you to get into your wife's panties.
Right,
dude. This
and
dude
your
has
charity.
Oh yeah, not the friend. He also defrauded the charity. Or he was getting paid $36,000. Yeah, he was getting paid $36,000 annually to run it. But they said that he made some false claims, or he was doing so. He taking some trips or doing something. I believe. I know Zobrist paid for his family to go on trip.
So he's not just screwing his wife; he's screwing his accountant too.
No, he thinks you a full born hoe.
Can we go to the booth? Instant replay. Was it over the line that hands need to be laid when he was telling them, "Friend, whatever you need for your kids, bless them"?
Yes.
Was that the point?
That's when, dude. As soon as the burner phones came out, I would have told his wife. Don't even say nothing, right? Maybe she did. I'd be like, don't let him know I know, right? I'm gonna hit him up. I ain't even gonna hit him up because I don't even want him to get on alert because she may have said something. I'm just pulling up. I'm pulling up, right? I'm pulling up, dude, and I'm beating in the daylights out of this cat. This cat has crossed several lines, and the only way to start my healing is to let my fist pound on his face, all right, to get me getting back into my groove of how life should be. If you ruin my relationship, right, and you took my wife, right, now, they probably gonna get married. Well, that's gonna be the crazy part. So, and then on this, so you gonna be around my kids too,
right? With my money.
With my money, I don't think so. Listen, I don't think so. I don't know what type of prenup my man had, but he need to be getting some of them dollars back because Shuddy, she went totally the wrong way with this. It's too many men out here.
Couldn't play that year.
I know.
There's just too much going on.
Right, like and we were joking, dude. This is serious business right here, man. What type of dude? I'm telling you, lucky Ben Zobrist has. I don't know if he has. You lucky you caught. I mean, you caught one with Zobrist. Because listen, a lot of people would kill you. Just straight up kill you. Now me, I ain't going to jail for your ass. All right, it ain't worth that. It's not worth that. You can have her. Y'all not gonna be around my kids, though. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Y'all not gonna be around my kids, man. All right, like she gonna have to. I know that's gonna be a problem, but it's just the truth. Y'all not gonna be around my kids. But yeah, that was that jumped out to me reading that article for Phil today. Just the treachery of a Byron Young. You know what I'm saying? One of the most treacherous passes this side of the Mississippi.
What's the expression? The balls on this one.
I don't know. I don't know that expression. I don't never heard of that one. Oh, what? The balls on this.
Yeah.
No. I thought how you said it. You know what I'm saying? It sounded different from you saying, man, the balls on this dude.
The balls on this one.
Yeah, the audacity. The audacity to sit there and to be a pastor and never tell himself, you know what, I shouldn't do this.
Right.
Or go to Ben Zobrist and be honest with him. Like, dude. Right. I didn't mean listen, it was this song by this dude named Uncle Sam. He was on a label that Boyz II Men created, and they wrote this beautiful song called I Don't Want to See You. What? I don't ever want to see you again. I don't. So they make this, it's a terrific song, right? But I remember back in days when it came out, I was like, dude, this can't be your first song. Because the song goes like this. It talks about he got a letter, right? And he didn't want to open it, but he opened it. And there was a letter from his best friend detailing how, damn, I know why you so in love with her because I'm sleeping with her, right?
Ugh.
Right. And the song is cold, but it was like, how's he gonna come back with another song and we know he getting played like this? Because I'm sorry, bro. We're never gonna look at you. First, your name is Uncle Sam, right? We're never gonna look at you right. They gave you this, you came up and they gave you this name. They gave him a hit, but this should have been his really should have been his third hit, his third single, rather.
Right.
But it shouldn't have been the lead single because it's like, damn, that's dope. But damn, son, she played the hell out of your ass, right? And he could have at least have done that. Had come to him and be like, listen, I have made a transgression against your family. I apologize. I understand that you may never forgive me for this, but I don't want to be in the shadows about it because I've already done so much damage to you and your own. I had to tell you, and I apologize. Not saying if it's over, should forgive him. He
said it in between. You have to read between the words when he's saying, "Bless up, friend." I'm here, Steve.
What time? Listen, you know how dude really felt when he found that out? Damn, I'm not gonna get all that time to be over there banging his old lady. He was hoping for that spring training, boy. He was like, man,
yeah,
when he go to spring training, man, that's when we get nasty, right? Like, oh man, this dude right here, dude. I gotta admit, I may have had to pull up outside his crib with the strap in my lap and talk myself out of that one. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh,
And I'm not. Listen, mind you,
risky.
I'm not a jealous type of person, right? It's just the level of disrespect here, right? And on top of like you just said, you're stealing from a charity, right? But also you're counseling me and my wife, and you're
breaking up a home completely, and you're the pastor. Your name has pastor in it,
right?
And then you're offering help with the kids, whatever you need,
dude,
whatever you need. Well, you know what I need? I need you to get the hell out of my life.
Right. He found him the right one right there, because a lot of cats would have took his head off. But that's enough time given to this bastard known as Byron Young. All right, who should live in infamy.
Any church with a pastor named this man.
Listen, man, don't attend it, don't trust it, and keep him the hell away from your wife.
This is a pastard, not a pastor.
Right, this dude, man, this dude lusts for a married woman. But yeah, shout out to Ben Zobrist, man. Keep your head up, Ben, man. First you had the ring incident, right, and then you had just man, is he on hard times? You know what I'm saying? And now you have this, like it hasn't been right for Ben Zobrist, man, for a couple years at least, man. But it's gonna get better, man. It's gonna some more out there for you, bro. Believe it. Some more out there for you, man. But I hope you took his head off, bro, twice. To be honest with you, run up on you. Got to be full Matt Barnes with this, man. A whole Matt Barnes, not a half of Matt Barnes. A whole Matt Barnes. Listen, compared to what Derek Fisher did, that Derek Fisher basically damn near didn't even do nothing compared.
Right.
Right, because
Derek Fisher is crazy disrespect.
Right, this is the pastor that's counseling you on your marriage, and he works for you. All right, this is totally different. I mean, this takes it to a whole. Saying a whole nother level doesn't tell you enough that it has the level that it's taking it to. This dude needs to be reprimanded by the Lord and by the fist of Ben Zobrist.
Oh man, like Derek Fisher was just staying at his house. It wasn't like destroying his house.
Well, he was destroying something. It's gonna take a little while. Oh man! All right. Moving along. Exactly. Moving along. Listen, we have one of the more entertaining NBA playoffs that we've had. I think a few years ago, 2 years at least, we said that the league is transitioning into good hands as far as these young and up and coming players. You look at what Devin Booker did that first game with Chris Paul out, getting his first triple-double of his career. You look at last year we was commending him, saying, man, look out for him. This is your number 2 guy. And then he playoff P'd himself, pandemic P'd himself. Paul George has stepped up with Kawhi Leonard being out due to his knee. You know what I'm saying? So just even that series, it's all going on right now. It's definitely an entertaining series. It seems like I would pull. I'm not pulling. Well, yeah, the Clippers always pull me in, but I can't believe the Clippers can win a championship without Kawhi. So I love Chris Paul, so I'm pulling for Chris Paul, but I think that the Greek Freak is going to beat them. You know what I'm saying? That was our team that we're rooting for. Remember we was just sitting here a week ago, like.
Right,
baby, Baltimore, we're back in business. Yeah.
Honestly, I thought. Correct me if I'm wrong. I thought the winner of that Game 7 between the Bucks and Nets was for the finals at this point in time.
I feel you. Only thing still is that damn Trae Young, who I said was my dark horse for MVP at the beginning of this year. Yeah. That damn Trae Young can't be trusted.
We had our thing. You had Trae Young. I had the Suns.
Right. So I mean, we did
a good year.
Yeah, we did good this year. You know what I'm saying? Good. So dude, listen, We definitely have to talk about what took place in Philadelphia. And it's definitely a lot of this falls on Ben Simmons, but Doc Rivers has to come down here and take these lashes. All right, we got to send him out to Maywood. Even Joel, listen, sometimes, and this goes to Doc, sometimes that offense when it's like my center's trying to go one-on-one, it's like, no, especially from 20 feet away. It's like, nah, dude, one, you running off a lot of clock. This ball needs to move around, and you need to find the easiest matchup. Now, of course, you can say having one of, if not the best center, or the second best center in the league since Joker won the MVP, that is your mismatch. But still, you can get easier shots. So I blame that on Doc and Joel. Ben Simmons, they really.
Do you want any of that Ben Simmons to the Bulls talk whatsoever?
No.
I know you're about to go into with the Ben, but I was wondering your thoughts on that whole thing too.
I mean, the fact that he refuses to shoot really talks a lot about his mental makeup. I mean, just the straight refusal to do it. It talks about his stubbornness. It talks about his awkwardness and fear of showing his weakness and growing through his weakness. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. Like it's ridiculous. No, I wouldn't want a player like him because I don't think you can unlock him. And also, even if he gets decent from 10 feet away, he'll never be the full player that he is because he's already shown you he's not going to work for it. Like how many summers did we hear? Like, man, he's taking some threes, he's shooting. Right. Like he's not going to really put in the work for it because the work would have shown by now. You know what I'm saying? Like he's been in the league. Go ahead.
One more trade. I thought this was interesting that I heard. What about for CJ McCollum? If they did Simmons and McCollum, would that help the Trailblazers having Ben Simmons next to Dame Lillard with his defense, but still some ball handling and just being such a big size versus keeping CJ McCollum and doing their thing all over again?
I think you can find somebody better in the trade with McCollum. I think, though, it would help Ben. I think he would be better because, I mean, you got to look at it. CJ has the ball in his hands sometimes. Mm-hmm. But it's Dame's team. But CJ has the ball in his hands. But will Dame settle for Ben at times just a spot up guy? I'm not saying he can't do it. It would unlock Ben because you can make the post area his, though. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to worry about Joel being down there. It can just be Ben down there all the time. But I think CJ McCollum's value is higher. I mean, Ben Simmons' value is janky right now, man. Like, that's the thing that you had to get up out of there early. And me personally, I would have probably made the Houston deal to bring in James Harden there is probably what I would have ended up doing because we always knew that Ben and Joel don't match up well together. You know what I'm saying? Like Ben, even to get the best out of Ben, you can't have somebody clogging the lanes. You know what I'm saying? So it'd be better, even if he was playing with another big, it'd be better to play with a big like Joker to where he's going to sit there and be at the elbow running the point, and you can sit there and do crazy ish from the baseline or whatever, you know what I'm saying, cuts and things like that. So, I mean, it's just, man, I mean, his stubbornness, man, speaks volumes. You know what I'm saying? It speaks values to the immaturity that this young man has, man. So, I mean, I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole. I know a friend of the show, Brian Crawford, has always said this. I think even I'm thinking of Eugene from the Bigs. They never liked him. I thought he was better than this at the beginning. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that it's what? He's five. Well, he has his max deal, so he's 5 years in. He's in fifth or sixth season, right? And he's worse, really. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
dude.
I mean, just a liability from the free throw line. Like if you can't shoot, you have to make free throws. Period. End of story. Because your other skill in offense is either going to be passing or running the break, down low, being athletic. When they take that away from you, you've got to have some kind of counter offensively. And that's my problem with Ben Simmons. He is just a horrendous, like, he can't shoot, period, whatsoever. He can't even shoot from the free throw line. And like, Do you want a 6'10" guard? Just be your post guy?
Dude, he should at least be playing kind of like Giannis, and he has a much better handle. Like he should be trying to Euro step his way down through that lane.
Right.
I mean, he should be trying to get easy buckets. And even especially in particularly the time when Joel's not in the game, he should play like he played when he was injured, or like he played during that Utah game when he got 40 on Gobert. Like, dude, I mean, man, Shorty is. Listen, this is why one reason I wanted him out of there. Doc is gonna get a shorter and shorter leash for Doc as people. That championship is that Celtics championship is a long ass time ago. What was that? 08 is a long ass time ago compared to all these early exits. And
what was that? 2 dynasties ago when they were the dynasty?
Yeah, dude. You sat there, and I would have been trying to get Ben ass out early because I don't want to go down with this one. You know what I'm saying? It's bad enough that PG got you fired last year, right? But looking at Ben, I would have been like, man, we gotta Daryl Morey, do your magic and bring your guy in, because it would have been such a nice fit between James and Joel from the inside outside game. You know what I'm saying? Like it would have been sweet. But man, and then especially Houston, they didn't even get nothing for trading away their best player, James Harden. All right, like they didn't even get, like, it's, you at least should have gotten Ben Simmons, right? Like, oh my goodness, man. Oh my goodness. But yeah, that one was terrible.
True to form, James Harden injured again.
That's what happens when you don't come into camp ready. You also on a shortened seat from a shortened off season. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't going to be all roses, trying to sit there and get acclimated, and you showed up out of shape like an MF, you know what I'm saying? And it came back to haunt y'all, and that's going to be something with that team in the future, because they only got one more year until they can all opt out, I believe, after 2022. And Kyrie's, you never know what Kyrie's going to do. Right. All right. Like you never know. You never know what.
The only thing you know is he's probably going to get hurt. That's the only thing.
So you definitely never know. But yeah, I was happy to see, even though it's because Kyrie went down, I was happy to see the Bucks make it out of that series against the Nets. That was a team that I wanted to win. And going into these conference finals, looking at, again, the Bucks versus the Atlanta Hawks.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah, I think the Bucks have enough to get past Atlanta. I think that Drew Holiday should be able to stay in front of Trae Young at times, but also defensively, if Drew Holiday gets Trae Young on him, he should easily be able to exploit him. They can listen. They got some athletic bigs in Collins and Clint Capella as far as standing in front of Joel Embiid, but I don't know if they're as committed to that to setting that wall. They definitely have the coach that can get them going in the right way in Nate McMillan, but I think they're a year early. But still being able to pull it off and beat a Philadelphia team. But now we know it's a Philadelphia team with chinks in his armor. You know what I'm saying? And they flashed a bright light on those flaws.
What was more disappointing in your mind? Was it the ending of how Utah finished that series, or how Philly finished that series?
I would say Philly, because Donovan Mitchell was hurt. True. So if Donovan Mitchell is at 100%, then I would go with Utah having the best record. Because think about it, we had Utah coming out of the West. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I like them.
Yeah. But when and that's the thing too with someone like Spider Mitchell, and it's the same. Who is the person that his comp is Dwayne Wade, and it was the same way where you remember how early they had to kind of put Wade on a minute restriction. You know what I'm saying? Then he finally had that, came back, and it was at Olympics where he was the sixth man, and he was finally healthy for a period of time, and then LeBron came or whatever. Then LeBron was kind of pissed because he didn't know before some games that D-Wade wasn't going to even play. Think about that, because you're probably going to see some of that with Donovan Mitchell, with the type of freakish athlete he is in the lanes. But the jumper is what separates him and Wade. He's not greater than Wade at this point. But no, I would say Philly, because think about the leads they had. And also it's just the characters involved, Daryl Morey, Doc Rivers, Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons.
And I think
the city
Atlanta
itself
is part of that character, because I think you're right. I think they're a year early. So that was like the series they were supposed to lose.
I agree. But I do believe in some ways this would be a more entertaining Eastern Conference final because we're getting Ben Simmons out of there.
Atlanta's got to score, baby. They got to score, and keep scoring some more. Because I don't think they have enough defense to even stop.
I don't either, but we'll definitely see. I'm looking forward to that one. It's good to see Giannis break through because he was never. Chris Middleton. All right. Shout out to Rob Schaefer from NBC. Chris Middleton's his guy. Chris Middleton, how he's jumped in being a legit number 2. And at times taking over that the defense, he may have got smoked at time, but that D that he was putting on Kevin Durant, you know what I'm saying? Right. The easiness that he played with confidence. Chris Middleton is really, really real. At times he used to disappear. You usually don't see a player, especially this late in his career, make it through and persevere to the other side of that. You know, especially when people have looked around and been like, dude, he need a running mate. Where you at? You know what I'm saying? I felt like that game in the playoffs last year when Giannis fouled out and Middleton went for like 55, and the next game, it was either the next game or the game after, he was just a waste, right? But I think that, and I'm telling him like, listen, you have to be X, and he came back like X this year. Shout out to Chris Middleton for taking that step, because now Giannis does have a number 2, and you added Drew Holiday. Too bad they couldn't have gotten that Bogdanovich trade fell through due to leaking it being leaked out. But man. And now it's going to be probably part of the storyline since he went to Atlanta. That
Man, could you imagine him on the Bucks?
Dude,
boy, oh boy,
it would have been nice. It would have been nice. It would have been nice, man. But yeah, I'm looking at this finals to probably end up being the Phoenix Suns versus the Milwaukee Bucks. You know what I'm saying? 2 small market teams. Phoenix hasn't been there since the Barkley era. The Bucks haven't been there since after Kareem. I think they went to one when Kareem left to the Lakers. I think they went to one with just Oscar. I think I saw that like a week or 2 ago. Yeah, but so this has been a long time for both of these organizations, especially the disappointments. Like, man, just think about Giannis' first MVP losing, Kawhi basically knocking him out, right? Kawhi was like, I'm a D him up, right? Then last year in the bubble, the Heat kicked their teeth in, and we like, oh snap, this ain't never gonna work, right? Then they make the trade. Of course, like I just said, the Bogdanovich part fell through, but they brought in Drew Holiday. I love I love some of the people they bring in. They brought in like Bobby Portis. I love them having Bobby Portis on their team, right? He is the perfect player for a team, a big that can shoot and it is nasty and nobody wants to mess with. It's the perfect. Yeah, it's one of the perfect players to have on a squad like that. I'm trying to think of who else on there.
I like DiVincenzo, but
unfortunately he's hurt.
But he's a nice little piece.
Who else do they have on that squad? I'm blanking now.
There's
one more person.
Notre Dame, Pat Connaughton, that's been hitting a ton of threes for them.
I feel like, I know they don't, but I feel like they have a Morris twin on there, or Morris twin like on that team that I'm not respecting, right? Like, or it's like, and again, I don't know who I'm blanking on, or some type of Nicholas Batum. Like, I feel like there's a bench player that stepped up that I'm blanking on, but maybe I'm just wrong. I have to go back
my brain to make sure I'm not forgetting.
I have to look at the roster before I just real quick. Bucks,
because I'm remembering Brook Lopez, remembering the Connaughton, remembering.
PJ Tucker. It's PJ Tucker.
PJ Tucker.
PJ Tucker is who I'm blanking.
That is a low rent Morris twin right there.
It's PJ Tucker. That's why I said it's like a Morris. It's PJ Tucker. Boy, PJ Tucker.
That's Morris Senior right there.
PJ Tucker want all that smoke and got all the kicks to go along with it. But yeah, PJ Tucker is who likes that trade finally bore fruit during the Nets series. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they were been waiting to really get PJ Tucker. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
that was corner three hitting, in your face defending, ish talking PJ Tucker. You know what I'm saying? And how it galvanized that team's defense. But yeah, PJ Tucker is who I was blanking out on. So yeah, I like that squad. But listen, Mike Budenholzer was this close to getting fired. If they got it.
Man,
it was going to be on you, buddy. And you better listen. You better be able to switch up and adapt during the series quicker than what you've been doing. But Mike Budenholzer, you may get you one now. You may finally bring home a title from one of Pop's kids, as far as from his coaching tree. They need it. They need it over there. They need it desperately.
What do you think? Who has the better shot, the Hawks or the Clippers, of reaching the finals?
That's a good question. I gotta go with the Hawks because of Kawhi. Like, if Kawhi, listen, if you even tell me, and it's like, because now it's like, is his ACL torn or not? Because at first it was like his ACL's torn, but they keep saying he's not gonna play in the game. Like, there may be an option. If you telling me he gonna brace up, right, and he's coming out and he's gonna give you 65, maybe. I don't know if it's a complete, because if it's gonna tear, if it's not completely torn, he's gonna tear it. All right, like from someone who's torn ACL, who injured it, and then later on kept kind of re-injuring it until it finally tore, right? Which is probably I needed it to tear anyway because it was going to tear anyway, right? But yeah, it's not a chance. So I have to say the Hawks because, man, Trae Young is I never got, and listen, let me pat myself on the back. I said on Sports Feed that year when the Bulls were drafted, I said, man, forget it. Just give me Trae Young. Like, I just want to be entertained, because people was acting like what Shuddy was doing to Oklahoma was some smoke and mirrors when he was leading the nation in scoring and assists. You can't just do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it would be different compared to now. If Trae Young was doing that at Oklahoma, and this was the NBA from 25 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Then it'd be like, you know what? He would still be good in the NBA, but he'd be like a specialist primarily.
Yeah, he'd be a spot-up shooter because he'd just be too small.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Him.
Right, you could put your hands on him or whatever. He wouldn't be able to get into the lane as easily as he gets to the lane. But for what he was doing in college 4 years ago, and the league already being wide open and already seeing Steph Curry doing it, I was like, Shuddy's gonna be good. The question is he gonna be as good as he was at college? You know what I'm saying? Like, that was the question. But he wasn't gonna be a bust. Some people was acting like he was gonna be a bust, which was crazy. I mean, we were always worried about his height and his defense, which you still are going to be worried about, right? Always. But still, the fact that Shuddy can shoot it from anywhere and get into the lane when he wants to, and he's a natural passer. Like, this isn't like, oh, I'm learning on the job and to become a willing passer. He was a willing passer when he was in college for that one season. But yeah, I would have to say, and also, man, listen, he look high out there sometimes, but the fury of a John Collins, man, woof, I hope they keep him. I don't know how you're going to really use him, but I hope they would keep the man. That dunk he did on Joel Embiid, and then he had the nerve to wear a T-shirt of the dunk to the post game of the next of Game 7. Oh, it was nasty. The disrespect was tasty. Dude, that, man, it's been a good playoffs. I hate that the Nets lost to attrition. You know what I'm saying? I hate saying that. But I mean, it's the same thing that happened to Golden State when KD and Clay went down, you know, and Kawhi won it with Toronto. But you hate to see it because you want everybody to have all their bullets in the barrel, and everyone have a fair shot when we're getting to the playoffs.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But I mean, the only thing is Kyrie and Harden, they get hurt. That's their thing.
Well, not James Harden. James Harden
lately
actually really doesn't get hurt majority of the time. Harden,
majority of
the problem with the problem with Harden is he gets worn down in the playoffs and at the end of the year. He loses gas has been his real problem, where you don't get those regular season performances because either the defense is ticked up, but also he's gassed out. That system that D'Antoni was running. Now think about D'Antoni was using James Harden like Dave Wanstead was using Ricky Williams in Miami, abusively, right? Like,
you think Dave Lillard wants that? He's interested in the Trailblazers job.
I mean, if they don't play any defense, but I think Lillard's going to want to bring a brother, because they had that brother They had that brother that got fired in Milwaukee. Was it one of their coaches? One of their
Jason
former coaches.
Kidd?
No. One of the former. He was an assistant. I should have said that. One of the former coaches for the Portland Trail Blazers went to another team last year and got fired. And I remember Dame and CJ being like, "What the hell?" Like saying, or he didn't get a job. No. You know what happened? He was in Minnesota, and when they sat there, and he should have been the next man up when they got rid of Saunders, Flip's son or something, I believe. I think it was Minnesota. And they skipped. They didn't go to Dude. They went to somebody else, or they brought in somebody else. I can't even remember what Minnesota did. That's when they were like, man, what the hell? Because Dude basically went there to be, I'm next man up or whatever. I believe, you know what I'm saying? But I can't remember. But it was a situation like that to the point where I think he's going to want to be like, hey, it's about that time. All right. But I don't know. Dame, the real thing with Dame is he just needs to get his ass out of Portland. I mean, that's just, I hate to say it. I hope he don't end up like doing too much
Not
and
my
like
Trailblazers
being with LeBron, but he needs to be with someone else. All right. He needs to find his way to Philadelphia. All right.
Hey, with Joel.
As you know, listen, CJ McCollum in his heart of hearts is like, well, I love being here. But if you tell me I'm gonna go out east, and we already know that CJ is gonna have a job in the business talking. Right, every offseason he's perfecting the craft of being a media darling. He's gonna come over to the East Coast, be in Philadelphia, be the number 2 to Joel, but be the guy with the ball in his hands at the end of the games, basically as the best perimeter player, right? I mean, and have a better chance to win. One, you out of the West, but two, your team structure is more efficient when you don't have the old school Pistons backcourt with Joe Dumars and Zeke with 2 diminutive guards back there. You know what I'm saying? So he should want to get out of there, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? I would want to get out of there before Dame gets out of there. Right? I would hate to be there and Dame goes and I'm like, man, it's my team. Because they got to win through the draft basically, because we know they don't win through free agency. But yeah, I would be out of there first thing smoking, baby. First thing smoking if I had that chance.
Well, you said it. The draft. We had the NBA lottery here tonight. Bulls. They got to give the pick to Orlando. They got number 8.
So listen, let me tell you how dumb I was today. I'm looking. I'm still thinking that they're going to put the Bulls sign, because back in the days they would have put the Bulls plaque up there, and been like, but that goes to so and so and so and so, right? They would have done it like that, I believe. I think that's how it used to go. So when they pull out the Magic, I'm like, oh snap, that's the Magic.
That's what I thought too.
I was like, that's the Magic's pick. We just jumped into the top 4, right, dude? After the Kelsey down here, I start stomping my feet, screaming. Cursing, yes! I was pumped. I go to Twitter. I'm like, yes. I was like, yes, Bulls, yes, right? Then I look at the top 4, because the top 4 they start placing teams that leap. I'm like, wait, the Bulls aren't in the top 4. Wait, they didn't. I'm like, wait, hold up. They did Orlando because that was the Bulls pick. I went and rewound it.
You're right. They used to just do the cards, and if the trade happened or you get the,
they would say it. They would tell you when they show you the lineup next to it. It would say, but this goes to this team.
But the actual card itself
would have still been the
Bulls
team. It was still the original team, not the team that it was traded to. So that threw me off. So then I sat down.
I think even Mark Eversley was thrown off when they showed him.
I do too, because he
was like. Oh, wait a minute. We're not in the top 4. Hold on.
But I sat down and I was like, well, that was fun. At least I got some fun out of it, right? I was like, well, at least they didn't get the draft.
For like Bulls history in the NBA lottery, it was really fun around 9 or 10, and then it started going down.
Yeah. I'm like, we're about to get cake, McConaughey, right? Dude, I'm like, dude, I'm all the way in. I'm like, shit. If we gonna jump into the draft, I'm not even look. I was fine with Suggs. I'm like, I would have been fine with Suggs or Green. I didn't want Mobley because I don't want to do another big man. They brought in Patrick Williams.
Right.
You have Vooch in there now. I'm not waiting on Evan Mobley for 3 to 4 years to develop an offensive game. I'm good off of that. But if you gave me one of those wing players, but man, if they had Cade Cunningham, Vooch, and Zach LaVine, and they've been looking for a point guard, but now your point guard is 6'8". All right. We cooking with grease, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
Yeah,
that was that what mix. And the problem, this is another problem, because I was talking to Tony, and Tony was like, no, I don't want them to have another young player. They haven't been bringing up their players anyway. Look at Daniel Gafford. And I was like, you don't talk about Daniel Gafford, because when I used to mention him to you, you didn't even want to hear about Red, right? But I was like, no, I was like, they need a stud, because they can't bring in free agents, but they'll never be this bad again, probably. Like, they're not going to be this. They're going to have a better record next year, right? So they're not going to probably be, they're not going to be in the lottery, or they'll be at the tail end of the lottery next year. Hopefully,
I mean, you're going to improve at point guard of some kind through free agency,
right?
And you're going to have another year of Zach and Vooch playing together. You're going to have another year of Billy Donovan, who's going to get a full offseason, full training camp. Like, yeah, more than likely, you're fighting for that 8th seed legitimately.
Right. So you aren't going to be this bad, but now you're going to have this accoutrement of players who aren't good enough to get to a title. They don't have
the East.
Yeah, and the East is tougher than what it was a few years ago. You know what I'm saying? We don't know. There's other teams in the East too. Charlotte got a point guard now. That solves a lot of problems, and he was out for half of the season this year.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That Miami, they may get their ish back together. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are teams out there in the East. Listen, Toronto's only going to stay down for so long. And what, they got the 4th pick? They got the 4th pick? You know what I'm saying? So they may get Jalen Green there, right? Like, just think about that, right? Like, so
maybe they get Mobley and pair him with everyone that they have up there. That might be a really scary team.
I mean, they need,
and especially if Masai picks him up, then you know he's bona fide.
Right. And listen, they need a point guard, since it looks probably like Kyle Lowry's probably going to leave to try to jump onto a contender. I thought about that. I wouldn't be mad at that. I wouldn't be mad at that. But so man, that was an interesting draft lottery. All right. And the thing is, now I don't even have to watch the NBA draft, honestly, because my team's not in it.
Right.
Right. It's just like, so anticlimactic, but it still was fun. But it's one of those things where you make that deal, and I thought the Bulls were going to have enough luck to be able to kick that can next year. Just give 4 would have been fine. Even though I don't know, Suggs would have been there. Jalen Suggs out of Gonzaga would have been there at 4, because he was my initial guy that I was like, if they can just get Suggs, but Cade Cunningham and
we'll see him all the time with Detroit.
Yeah, until he leaves, because it's Detroit. I'm sorry, like, you better play. Y'all better be. Listen, you better be good, because after that rookie contract, after he gets that first mega deal, he's going to start looking for a greener
a little
pastures.
more west in Chicago.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I mean, think about, by the time we're talking about he gets drafted, he 7 years from now, basically, 7 years from now, to where he's almost in the middle of that max deal that he's probably going to get, to where he's starting to be like, if they're not really in contention, who are these teams out there? And Anthony Davis is not probably going to be with the Lakers at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're going to be teams. Who's going to be with Miami? Like, there's going to be teams in sexy scenarios, right? Let alone, we don't know who the superpowers are going to be. You know what I'm saying? That can be extra attractive to a young man trying to make a name for himself and build a legacy out for himself.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because, like, how many years were we dominated by the friendship of LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh kind of thing, and like all their relationships? What about when all the Devin Bookers and his era of superstars are all max free agents at the same time, and they're deciding which places are going to go and how to break up the league and control from there? Like, it could be, like you said, it could be just Lakers going crazy with a brand new pairing, Miami, and maybe you get a leftover free agent for the Bulls for once. It could be really interesting.
Maybe Boston has this ish together. Like, they got
Tatum. I know I'd want to play with them.
got Jaylen Brown. And so, again, it was pretty good until our team had to pay back their draft pick for bringing in Vucevic, which is okay, man. It's just that was deflating. But I had fun. But I was tired. I was like, damn, I'm tired now, right? Because I mean, dude, I went full on I popped the bottle like we won a championship, dog. I went full on.
I wanted this carrot, I wanted
Yes.
that little nugget, like a Tuesday in the middle of June, Bears camp, far away. Like baseball season has been ugly the last couple weeks for the hometown teams. Just give me this nugget. Give me a first-round pick in the NBA draft.
Dude, on top of that, the partner that with getting bringing in Justin Fields, Doc, if we was gonna have Justin Fields and Cade Cunningham, dog, we was gonna be straight for a decade, man. The wintertime was gonna be tight in the city of Chicago.
My goodness! And both teams in baseball are in first place.
Dude, it was gonna be different. It was gonna be different around here, man. It was gonna be different. I mean, because then think about the stuff you could do, the players that you could move like in 2 or 3 years if Cade Cunningham really starts to pan out, and you got Zach on a new deal, but you like, man, we can move out for him and maybe get something for him. It's just, man, that one sucked. The NBA, damn you for tricking us.
I don't get it. Can the Bulls write a check? Like, I thought for sure there was a handshake ping pong deal to get the Bulls in the 4.
I did too. I thought
it was 100%.
Like, listen, now they stopped tanking. The Bulls stopped tanking for y'all a couple years back, right? So you gonna hook us up, right? Like that now this is the cherry on top to get the city back alive, right? Like, come on now.
And then I see Cleveland again in the top 4 all the time.
Listen, I was like, I knew Cleveland was going to get number 1. I said, so wait, it's going to be 4 number 1s in a 20-year period? Like, who the hell sacrificed who in this situation to get this set up, this scenario set up like this, right?
Right. And the Bulls have had like 4 number 7s in 20 years.
Right, dude. Like, I mean, the Bulls have only had in my lifetime. No, they've had 2 number 1 picks in my lifetime. Brand, both from Duke. No, actually, Jay Williams was number 2. Jay Williams was number 2.
Oh yeah,
Elton Brand was the only number 1 in my lifetime that the Bulls have ever had.
Well, Derrick Rose,
good one. So, that's sacrilege. That was sacrilege. That was sacrilege right there. I blanked out. I totally blanked out right there.
You're right though, too. You're right.
Yeah, too, but both point guards. But yeah, man, that one was good, but it hurt, man, like the next level leaving you. It just hurt, man.
I know.
One, oh man.
NBA dumbass Cleveland. Like just this idiot.
And on top of that, to see the thieving Ben Wallace, who used to show up to get his paycheck in a Bulls uniform with a mask on his face. All right, the thieving Ben Wallace ass sitting there gloating, knowing he came here
looking like a super villain with that gray.
Right. but it was like, where'd they have him set up at? It was like he was in an attic with a basketball court behind him. It was like, what type of setup are y'all doing?
Chicago at the combine trying to find more money to steal somewhere in the building.
Exactly. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, see that, man.
What a horrible free agent. That might have been an all-timer.
Oh, it was all-time horrible, man. Like, we thought he was gonna be straight, and Shuddy came here and was like, give me this check. Listen, I was rooting at that point. I was slightly rooting for Houston, but I really wasn't, because I feel like Houston did this to themselves and they need to pay for it. So it's like you suffer more, Houston.
OKC has like 10 million first-round picks for the next 7 years. They have 18. Are you kidding me?
Right.
Like they're going to be a good team eventually. How can you not be with 18 first-round picks in a 7-year period?
You think
if you mess that up, Sam Presti, you might be all-time bad somehow.
See Danny Ainge.
Ooh.
Remember, Danny had so many picks.
He still got Jason Tatum, though.
Okay, but Danny has so many picks. Remember there was so many picks like, I can deal for any superstar in the league. Dog, you know what Boston should have just did? They should have told Anthony Davis, screw you, and traded for him. and see if they could have run it, if they could have ran it twice that season, that year and the year after, with those two young players and Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, and with him, and see if you can get him to stay here. Because LeBron wasn't going to wait a year and a half for Anthony Davis. He was going to have to do something else. You know what I'm saying? So I would have done it. Because look at Boston. Your window basically closed. I'm not saying that you still don't have a chance with these players in the future, but they look like they were on the precipice of winning a title, or you know what I'm saying, with what they had with picks and that young talent. They should have just did it, man. They should have just went ahead and
Danny Ainge just became enthralled with the spirit of the Celtic fan and the racism that they have. They're good people. I've never experienced this ever.
Are you talking about what Big Baby Davis was saying?
No, Danny Ainge.
Oh, because that's what Big Baby Davis was saying. Like, Boston fans, I've never experienced racism. It's like, sit your big ass down, you goofy ass.
Big Baby.
Sorry, I had to take the drink of water. But yeah, man. So let's go.
You're parched from spitting all this truth.
Right. So you know what time it is, man. It's time for the best segment of the show, man. Let's go up for grabs.
Let's go Bears heavy, because I love minicamp and we're far away from training camp. So I had a thought. What do you think the Bears defense needs to show up more? Eddie Goldman or Robert Quinn?
Eddie Goldman. I mean, we've seen what this defense can do with one supreme pass rusher, edge rusher. It'd be good to have two of them, or one and a really good one. But we saw how this team got ran on without Eddie Goldman last year. And even though towards the end of the season, Bilal Nichols had become more stout playing at the nose tackle, you need Eddie Goldman to be the center of that front seven to stop the run and to push in that pocket, creating actually helping Khalil Mack even more, because not allowing the quarterback to step up. You know what I'm saying? So I have to say that it's Eddie Goldman who I am concerned with him not being there in mandatory minicamp.
You think he shows for training camp?
I would think so, but who knows, man? I mean, they just brought in Pennell, trying to cover that ass. But I mean, Matt Nagy said that was not an excuse absence. You know what I'm saying? So he's doing what he wants to do right now. And you start to, and this is just my opinion, but you start to come up with different scenarios of what's going on. So what my thought was, is it COVID? Is he just that afraid of coming in contact or either bringing it home to his family? Or is it that he doesn't want to play football, or he doesn't want to play football for the Chicago Bears? You know, like, is there a chance that maybe that relationship is frayed? It's just some of those things that are running through my head. Because I mean, he's got 2 more years left on that new contract. I think he's in the middle of that contract.
Didn't he get that extension right before 2018?
That's what I'm saying. And he missed last year, so he didn't accrue a year last year.
Right.
So he still has 2 more years left on that deal. I don't know if he's just like, I'm done with it. You know what I'm saying? So it'd be interesting. You know, you got a top 4, top 5 nose tackle right there. And since it's not a sexy position, you know, when you're not the number one, your name isn't necessarily put out there, but you know what this defense can be with Eddie Goldman. So I want to say Eddie Goldman, because even if you look at it, if Robert Quinn and Khalil Mack are doing their thing, the quarterback still has a better chance of stepping up into the pocket without Eddie Goldman collapsing the pocket.
And I agree with you. I think that's a great point, because you got to stop the run. They were a dominant run-stuffing team under Vic Fangio. They have not been since Vic Fangio has left. They really need to get back to stopping the run, and that is going to make Khalil Mack and some of these pass rushers even better. And Robert Quinn's not going to help out in stopping the run. But I do think I comboed these two players, because I think it's a little bit ironic that the horrible contract of Robert Quinn is not allowing you to really sign anybody to help you on defense, and you needed to spend all your draft capital essentially on offense for what you needed. It's like this signing of Robert Quinn, we were talking about Ben Wallace. Boy, move over.
Yeah, that's a good one. That he is on that list. If he comes in this year and has the same results as last year, him and Ben Wallace both show up with ski masks. at Chicago check cashing places. Like this dude, man,
We've got a robbery over on the lakefront.
Oh, listen, it like just taking the dough. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, if he plays the same way that he did last year, Virginia McCaskey needs to pop him with her purse and close it when he tries to put his hand in there to get his check, because he is not earning those digits as of right now.
Man, that one fumble sack, that's
not enough. It's not enough, bro. It's not enough, man. Like you said, you have us cash strapped. Like, dude, do you know we could have just paid Leonard Floyd?
Right.
Like, man.
Or like a decent little defensive tackle in case you don't have Eddie Goldman, another corner instead of Desmond Trufant. Like,
do you know what Leonard Floyd would have accepted for a 3-year deal last year if the Bears would have came with him for a 3-year deal? And they wouldn't even have to pay him that $15 million. They could have paid him probably $9 million and stretched it out, or $10 million. And now you're sitting here taking up all this cash and not producing it all on the field. Like, come on now, man. You got to get out there and get to that quarterback, bro. And as you said, he's not a run defender. He's a one-trick pony.
I can't do that trick. Speaking of excitement on this team, I wanted to talk about some position groups that have you intrigued besides quarterback, now that we're, I guess, slowly previewing training camp coming up with a lot of fierce competition throughout the position groups on the team.
Okay, I broke this into two. My positive and my negative. My positive, what intrigues me, is the wideout room when you have Damiere Byrd, Marquise Goodwin there. And that's on top of looking at Mooney and Allen Robinson.
And hopefully I'm blanking on his name, the 6th round draft pick.
Oh, you talking about Calvin Ridley? Oh, from this year.
Yes.
Daz Newsome,
Newsome.
who injured his shoulder, his
collarbone.
Collarbone, broke his collarbone. Yeah, but now he's going to be pushed back. He's not, so, he's not going to get those reps.
They're hoping for the start of training camp, but probably.
Yeah. So as far as now, those guys are going to get a chance to really know the playbook from ins and outs a lot better than a rookie. He probably needs to focus on special teams as of right now and trying to get out there as a kick returner. The wideouts and the running back room, because I think they have a lot of depth in both of them now. So those intrigue me, but in a positive way. So I'm not worried. But the negative room is the cornerback / DB room, because you got one. As far as we know, you got one quarterback. You know what I'm saying? As far as Trufant playing the whole year, who knows how that's going to work out?
They're really banking on that Kindle Vildor.
I said, Kindle Vildor played well, but he's not. You're playing. You're not playing man to man. You're playing in the zone. You know what I'm saying?
And he's a 5th round pick in like his 2nd year with not a lot of experience. It's hard. It's hard to rely on a guy like that.
True. But I mean, damn, if he is a player, you got both of your cornerbacks out of last year's draft. That's saying something. I'm starting.
And Ryan Pace, he's good at the 5th round. That's his money round.
That room, I'm still concerned about. And I feel like, and it's particularly the cornerbacks, you need another vet, you know what I'm saying? So somebody that can get out there, because the last thing you need is to be getting beat because you got one good corner out there and the other one is suspect and they're going after him.
I like that. I'm going to copy that. I'll start with my negative, and I think it's that defensive line room. I'm very worried about the defensive line room, especially because defensive line coach Jay Rodgers is no longer here.
Mm-hmm.
They have talent there, but Akeem Hicks has been hurt a lot the last couple seasons. So if he's not there, and Eddie Goldman, we just don't know, like we just talked about. I'm pretty worried with Bilal Nichols as our best defensive lineman. Even though I like Bilal, I'm not feeling some of these backups, and we don't even have guys like Nick Williams.
Akeem Hicks would be your best defensive line.
No. I'm saying if he gets injured, and
I'm sorry.
And you don't have Eddie Goldman, you're really bare there, really, really bare. And I mean, yeah, a lot of teams would be bare without their top 2 defensive linemen, but you knew coming into the season, you don't know what you're getting out of Eddie Goldman, and Akeem Hicks. I mean, you let him go find a trade. You can't be relying on him that heavily, but your cash strap, what can you really do when you didn't have enough capital in the draft to really address the positions besides a 7th rounder? So I'm very worried about the defensive line, especially how we talked about too. They really struggled in stopping the run the last couple seasons. And without defensive linemen, that's one of the hardest ways to not stop the run, essentially. But in terms of a positive, I really like that running back room, like you mentioned, the wide receiver room. But I'm going to stick with the safety room. I think that that's a position that I like overall because I think Eddie Jackson's going to start being used correctly, first of all. I don't think Chuck Pagano was really using Eddie Jackson. And I think Tayshaun Gibson's a really good complementary piece
I
to
agree with
Eddie
that.
Jackson. And you bring back, was it Josh Lucas or Jordan Lucas from the Kansas City Chief that you got last year? That safety that didn't play because of the COVID pandemic season. He's back. You still have some of those familiar faces like DeAndre Houston Carson and Deion Bush. So I think that that's a really solid room. Maybe not as sexy as running back and wide receiver, like you pointed out, but just thinking about it, there was a long stretch from Mike Brown through like those Lovie Smith years. They couldn't find a safety, let alone having a pretty solid room of defensive
Chris
safeties.
Conti era.
Oh,
Major right head hunting. Yeah, it was bad business for a period of time.
there was a lot of guys. It's hard to even remember. Like there was the Oregon guy, and then there was one of the Harris's, one of those. You had
Yeah, man.
who was with Devin Hester in that draft? Who was taken right before Devin Hester? That's safe. Daniel Manning. Yeah, Daniel Manning every time.
Good return guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
do the
but
kickoffs.
that's a good one. That's a good one. All right. We definitely always appreciate you spending a little bit of time with us. We'll be back next week with another show. We'll also probably hit you with a flip next week too. So make sure that you definitely stay with us. Keep listening. Definitely hit us up on social media if you got anything interesting or we said something that you want to comment about. But above everything, man, be safe.